My training there did not include transportation.
Okay.
But I knew what was right. And I liked decent things. And there are many Nigerians who like what is good. I chose another committee that will implement it should in case we decided to go ahead. And I don't see how we cannot go ahead because I happen to be the head of the government and I'm the one who set up the committee and I'm the one to approve or disapprove. I mean, why should I set up something that I'm going to disapprove? Why do I set it up in the first place? For anybody to say he started, brought the idea, I did not even discuss it with any civil servant until I've made up my mind. Because I knew if they say no, they will bring problem of finance, problem of control, and the moment they bring that, it will be difficult to go ahead. Some people, you put them in charge of something, they want to be in total control. But once you allow them to be in total control, you lose the authority you would have had in modeling it the way you want. So, and a lot of people who have brilliant ideas outside government have no knowledge of how government runs. Soyinka was not the one who brought at all, although he made fantastic and great contributions. Take, for example, the emblem. The emblem had nothing to do with me, and it's a beautiful emblem. Okay.
The emblem of FRSC.
Yes.
Road safety.
Yes. Or anybody who says he influenced or he contributed to the establishment of Oyo State Road Safety Corps before it became official, you should please say so. That's all I'm saying. What am I gaining by coming out to say I established it? But if you want to claim you are the one who established it, I am making a claim now that I did. Some of these politicians are making noise. They just make noise. You have no idea. And the matter is getting worse for us. Because some of the young people who go to politics, they go for the money. My happiness is that first, the police appreciates the contributions I made, which is very important. And I myself am satisfied. When you are appointed to a position, it is believed you make the position even better than before you go there. Otherwise, you could have just gone to pick somebody from the street to come and handle this camera. But you didn't do that because you want good picture to become. If I'm doing anything good, I'm doing myself good. And I'm also doing the person who put me there good because he would be proud that he had made the right choice.
I think you have something you want to say about that, but let's quickly move to. Let me go back a bit to the issue of the Federal Road Safety Commission. I want you to clear this opinion, because a lot of people have this perception. From what I read when I went into my archive recently, I learned that it was one Colonel David Jemibewon that started it in Oyo State, and a lot of people have this perception that Federal Road Safety was an idea of the Ibrahim Badamasi regime, and it was solely, maybe some people even feel that it was Professor Wole Soyinka that initiated it, and that it was the solar, it was the creator, the initiator. But from what I read in the archive, I was shocked, and with total honor, sir, I want you to put light into it, because from the narrative, they said this Colonel David Jemibewon was just sleeping in his room, and the idea just came, and he put it into practice. And from what we even saw, we learned it was one Major Hamza that was a false, maybe a director or whatever. Sir, is it still the same Colonel Jemibewon that we're with right now? And how true is that, sir? With total honor, sir.
Anyway, first, the latter part of your question.
Yes, sir.
Nigeria seems to enjoy sensational news.
Sensationalism.
Sensationalism, beg your pardon. Thank you very much for helping me. So, who brings something is not terribly relevant. But when you want to make it a source of friction, then there is need to come out to say this is the true position.
But history students want to know the truth. History students want to know the truth, sir.
So, first, let me say it again. There is nowhere in the world where a government is a government of one person. However, there are occasions that it is necessary to clarify situation. So one, subject to how you report your interview, if there's anybody who wants to counter whatever I say, let him come out with relevant facts. But I doubt much if there's anybody who will have any counter statement to what I'm going to give as answer to your question. First, what really gave rise to the idea of road safety is the fact that, one, I trained in the United States, and I see how the policemen there, or the police organization, how they operate, how they dress. And so, a thief or someone who is put in charge of a situation, he should know that it is his responsibility to enforce rules that govern what is expected to do. So, in the U.S., my training there did not include transportation.
Okay.
But I knew what was right, and I liked decent things. And there are many Nigerians who like what is good. So what happened was that what actually triggered the whole thing is that there was congestion on Ibadan roads within the city, because there happen to be only few roads within the town and a lot of vehicles. Then between Ife and Ibadan, the main road was always congested. Vehicles from the east, particularly Edo State, in some cases from the north, had to pass through Ibadan. And so sometimes within Ibadan town, you could be there for 3 hours. Okay. And then we were losing students who try to come to enjoy themselves in Ibadan. Weekend, okay. And there was an occasion in particular. A vehicle had an accident and over 15 people died in the vehicle. Even in war, there's some war fought. We don't have up to that number of people being killed. So it was on this basis I said something must be done. And I decided that I will do it. Because even if you call the civil servants that give me a paper on this, they'll probably give you beautiful paper, but at the end they will say financial implication. So you end up not doing the job because it has no provision for it has been made in the budget. So I put it under the office of the governor. I set up a committee. But I already knew what I was going to do. But it wouldn't have been reasonable for me to do it as the chief executive. I just wanted to know. Of course, I briefed the people. They know where my money is going. So that is the origin of the whole matter. And at school in America, as I said, that's the way I started. And so there was a committee. And I chose members of the committee. After that, I chose another committee that will implement it should in case we decided to go ahead. And I don't see how we cannot go ahead because I happen to be the head of the government and I'm the one who set up the committee and I'm the one to approve or disapprove. I mean, why should I set up something that I'm going to disapprove? Why do I set it up in the first place? So this is what exactly happened. And in fact, there are still some aspects of the program that had not been well worked out. You know, it included mobile court.
Yes, sir. Mobile court, of course.
And one of the first to be to be sort of I'm not sure using the word arrest would be right, but one of the first people to be caught happened to be the driver of the chief judge of Edo State, which was called, what was Benin called at that time? Medayese State.
Medayese State.
And I think Justice Mariere or something. I can't remember exactly.
First culprit.
Yes, between Ife and Ibadan. And when they beckoned on the driver to park, which he did, the chief judge or chief justice, as they were called at that time, introduced himself. But these people, the police and the road safety boys still insisted the driver can't drive the car anymore. He then said, all right, take me to the governor. So they brought him to government house. Brought him to government house. And that means he's a man who knows the law. He's reasonable. He knew, arguing with his boys, he was wasting his time. So he came to Government House and he gave me opportunity to explain to my lord and told him why, blah, blah, blah. And I said, they should let him go. Okay. So, for anybody to say he started, he brought the idea, I did not even discuss it with any civil servant until I've made up my mind. Because I knew if they say, no, they will bring problem of finance, problem of control, and the moment they bring that, it will be difficult to go ahead. So exactly this is how it started. And I set up a committee. I'm sure some of the officials will still be alive. They're in Ibadan there. That's how it started.
I learned that Major Hamza was the first.
No, it's not. There was a major. When you first mentioned, I got the name right. Major Salao. Major Salao. Yes, Major Salao. Because I needed somebody who would understand my language. I will understand his language. He will, even from my behavior, he will know what I want him to do.
Body language.
Yes. So this is how I started. However, that aspect of
traffic management.
No. The professor.
Okay, Professor Wole Soyinka, yes. They said he was one that initiated it.
His own aspect came because I selected the body to administer it.
Okay, sir.
And I had always had great respect for Soyinka, and his life has been associated with humanitarianism. Although you need to know him to get on well with him, and so I approached him because he has always shown interest in anything that promotes
humanity.
Yes. So I approached him that I want him to be chairman, and
You obliged?
he obliged. I drove myself to Ife to go and tell him, and I spent the night with him. So this how, and you see, I'm not too sure how coherent I have been this interview. I didn't know what you were going to ask me anyway.
But was disturbed.
I'm coming. So this is exactly what happened, and I select some few people to work with Wole Soyinka. But you see, as you know, in government, you may want to bring new ideas, but you have to be very careful. Now, some people, you put them in charge of something, they want to be in total control. But once you allow them to be in total control, you lose the authority you would have had in modeling it the way you want. So, and a lot of people who have brilliant ideas outside government have no knowledge of how government runs. In dealing with human beings, you need sometimes to behave as if those who constitute the society are children, and so you have to treat them with decency. So the aggressiveness that some people have in approaching some problems, they won't work. Because you have really created antagonism against that project as you start. So this is what happened. And also, He's not just Wole Soyinka. He had an assistant. I forgot his name now. Aroloye. Who?
Agunloye.
Yes.
I think he nearly became a governor or something. Was a senator? Was a gubernatorial candidate in Ondo State?
Yeah. You see,
Professor Agunloye.
And I think he had been very associated with Wole Soyinka for many years, probably as students or in the young man, in the academic world. They were close. So some people didn't like it that way, and they also thought I couldn't talk. But it's just that I called them to help, even if I didn't like their approach. I should be tactful in the way I dealt with it. Okay.
Diplomatic.
Yes. So this is exactly what happened. And you know, Wole Soyinka is a very strong character. Not only that, he knows Ibadan too well. He's from that general area. He's a university man. And the people in the university, particularly the students, are young people. Somebody they admire, they hear, they adore. If he says something, whether it's true or not, once the students believe in it, the person opposed to that thing is in trouble. So one had to act, with some tact. So this is exactly, and then you press men, I don't know, I mean, I'm not a press man, I don't want to say anything controversial, but I tell you, you could promote peace, you could also create chaos, particularly based on what you believe. And Wole Soyinka enjoys patronage of the press. You would know that. So this is, but it's a man I like up to today, and then he has made a lot of contribution to the development of our country. So this is exactly what happened. Soyinka was not the one who brought at all, although he made fantastic and great contributions. Take, for example, the emblem. The emblem had nothing to do with me, and it's a beautiful emblem. Okay.
The emblem of FRSC.
Yes.
Road safety.
Yes. So that is that. And, so basically this is what I'll tell you, because that were the questions.
That was the year you had the Milad in Oyo State. So how did he become a federal?
What is Milad?
Military administrator.
No, I was governor.
Governor, sir.
The nomenclature of what I was while I was governor, not administrator.
Okay, sir. Then how did he became? How did Babangida now adopted it? Was it that he called you?
You see,
General Babangida.
There was, in fact, one of those who made it possible for me to start it at all was Yaradua.
The late General Yaradua.
Yes.
General Musa Yaradua.
Yes, sorry.
Okay, role of Major Hamzat. Okay, Major Hamzat in that FRSC.
Who is Hamzat?
Major Salau.
Major Salau was the chief executive. And yes.
First chief executive of the Road Safety Commission.
He was answerable to the governor. And then I needed a board to administer the road safety.
Commission.
Yes. No, I didn't call it commission. Okay. Because, you see, there are some terminology that you can't use for state creation. That is to say, a body created by the state. There are some terminology you cannot use for them. So that is
talking about General Yar'Adua, they made it happen.
Yes. The police didn't want it.
It was like a conflict of their own activity.
They didn't want it. And of course, the government in those days follow military pattern.
Jackboot government.
So they put pressure on Obasanjo. But Obasanjo, of course, I always briefed him what I was doing. And he didn't want, he saw sense in what I was doing. And so he didn't want to overrule the idea. He didn't want to also a situation where the police would feel that
inferior.
Yes, or maybe. So he told me to deal with Yar'Adua, being his deputy. And I gave all my papers to Yar'Adua. And one of the remarks Yar'Adua made was that that's within us. When I went to say that whatever will reduce death on our roads deserve support. With that position, I was able to go ahead. And that is why I said, Yar'Adua. Then, with time, don't forget that at one stage, the police actually took that road safety to court.
Imagine.
In the East. I can't remember the whole details now, but
challenge the authority.
Yes. I mean, you have the right to. The court is there. So, this was the situation. That's why I mentioned Yar'Adua. Because if Yar'Adua says, no, it's duplication of something, there's no way I could have gone ahead. But I didn't establish it for federal, because I know my limitation. That is why we call it or your road safety. Commission. No, I'm not to do core.
Or your safety corps.
Yes.
Or your safety corps. I saw that. Forgot.
Okay. Not even commission. Okay. So this is the situation. So beyond the council. Beyond the council governing this organization, of which Wole Soyinka was a member of the board, and few others, there was nobody or anybody who says he influenced or he contributed to the establishment of Oyo State Road Safety Corps before it became official. He should please say so. That's all I'm saying. What am I gaining by coming out to say I established it? But if you want to claim you are the one who established it, I am making a claim now that I did.
The purpose is to correct, to help historians, young people in history class, people that want to, be in the right frame of mind concerning this lovely and novel idea of traffic management in Nigeria. It's good for them, for the body of faculty of history and all that.
And it was done in such a way, really could have been expensive, but running the organization for a month, people will have sat up. Because you had two motorcyclists. They are the first contact in this road safety. And the reason is, I know our people. They will kill some of these operators. But if those riding the motorcycle too are sensible, they should prevent a rider or a driver from killing two of them. Okay.
Intelligence.
So we are the first set to motorcycle riders. Next, car and Volkswagen, because that's what the state can afford. Volkswagen is faster than the motorcycle. At least if you hit one driver, one motorcycle, and it's not dead, you should be able to mention where the the person who had done that has headed for. Okay. So this is how we did it. And we did it at that time so that if you drive in an irresponsible manner and you are arrested, they take your car to the base. And depending on the nature of irresponsible driving, and of course, like I said, the judge is there. You are arrested, fine imposed if you are found guilty. You make payment, you go back to your car.
You learn your lesson.
Yeah. So this is it. So like I told you, the chief judge the other time was in fact brought to government house. So
this is a great revelation, sir.
Sorry, I happen to be under a situation now that I'm not too bright for what we are doing now. But
we are so very honored because it's a very fantastic one. It's just two issues that remain now. The issue of the police reform. I want you to clear it because a lot of people felt that if General Jemibewon has stayed longer as Minister of Police Affairs, the police would have been in a better position because we were able to glean through and we saw the way the Police Service Commission was created, and you also, what can I call it? There's what we call making the police to be zonal policing. The idea of community policing came from you as well, and eventually the zonal policing from AIG to DIG before you become the IG. So how did you got all the knowledge to do that, and why you push out so quick? When I'm looking at the history recently, I was afraid, and I said, if you have this kind of lovely idea, if you have stayed longer, maybe we'll have a police near that of countries like maybe, let me even use a small country like an African country like Malawi or some other few beautiful country that have good policing.
Anyway, I think we have good policing. It's just that our method of operation is almost becoming obsolete. In anything you do, you must try to, what is the appropriate word now?
Review.
Huh?
Review.
Maybe review, but not exactly. There is a word that is stronger than review. But anyway, whatever you do, even your family affairs, in your personal affairs, there must be occasions when you sit back and say, let's look at this again. Okay? So precisely, even if what you are doing works well, you want it better. So you must always innovate innovation is the main thing. So that is it. I don't know what is the other question.
The question is that how did you get the knowledge to reform the police to this area of zonal?
First of all,
community.
Yeah. First of all, you see, some of these politicians making noise. They just make noise. You have no idea, and the matter is getting worse for us because some of the young people who go to politics, they go for the money. They go for the money. I tell you, sometimes when I sit down, although I'm getting to know the idea now, to feel guilty in my mind, I should be writing books. But the question now is that even if you write books, how many people will read it?
But it will be in the library. Some people will read it someday.
So,
the police reform.
Yeah, I know. So I don't really know. Honestly, I don't know. Let's move on. If you want to.
Are you angry with the police now? The way you saw the police now?
How can I be angry?
System. When police are staying on the road and taking money instead of doing their job.
Hey, somebody gives you the money. Somebody gives the money.
Somebody's
even an accountant general of Nigeria. They said they see all certain millions inside.
Billions, that's 80 billions. That's just small money of 80 billion.
Then people on the road for more than 24 hours, beaten by the sun, by rain, by weather, taking little money. I mean, I'm not encouraging it, but I'm telling you, I think the offense is much less.
So why did you leave the police so quick? How, did you feel bad that you didn't stay long as a Minister of Police Affairs? And what are those things that you feel you regret that you didn't do? Now that you look back, you say, I could have done more because you did more within that short time, really.
Number one, as I told people, few people were my friends. If they had told me Ministry of Police Affairs was where they were taking me to, I would have found myself out. Found the way of this. After all, don't forget that there were one or two people who were invited to be in the midst of those to be considered for minister, but they didn't turn up. And nothing happened. And then with time, few years after that, one or two of those people were invited and were made ministers. So what I'm trying to say is that I would have wished, if I was consulted, to say that I wasn't keen in going to the Ministry of Police Affairs. But again, really, the challenge is good for anybody who has no knowledge of a place, but who believes that he has this energy, the strength, the intelligence to be given a virgin area for him to prove himself for the good of society. So my happiness is that first, the police appreciates the contributions I made, which is very important, and I myself am satisfied. It's just like that young boy who passed now, as I told you. I went to the hospital because I was not feeling well, and I met an old woman who was not feeling well too. I started greeting me. Mama, you know me. Say, no, you be so. This was just this last week. Now, if I hadn't done what the woman was praising me for, there was no way he could have praised me for it. But I didn't do what I did for my personal benefit, but the benefit of our society.
A lot of people wrote in the comment board when we ran your interview that you personally came to their school in Iwo to come and look at dilapidated situation, that you come into their class to come and urge teachers to do their job, that you will come in short knicker at time, that you are somebody that just come unannounced and everybody will start running around, that you are a governor on your toe. In those days, they made all those comments that they knew you. There was a man that was practicing advertising outdoor. That's the Honorable Polo Mishori in Lagos that said he carried out an advert in Ibadan, and you arrested him and you dealt with him that because the advert was showing ladies with bikinis and they were almost half naked. You didn't like the advert, and that you were a governor who didn't just sit in the office. You were always going around. There are a lot of comments like that about you. So we keep asking that: do we still have people like General Jemibewon into this politics?
I wouldn't know. You go and ask the people. Yeah, I mean, that you wish to have Jemibewon. I mean, it's like me. Do you ever see have Jemibewon? I'm here.
People are angry now. You see politicians buying expensive clothes, expensive shoe. They're traveling to Dubai every time, to America, buying cars for their women. I mean, the rules are in tattered and everything. So people gave so much good comments. Your generation appears to be very much work-oriented.
Ordinarily, when you are appointed to a position, it is believed you make the position even better than before you go there. Otherwise, you could have just gone to pick somebody from the street to come and handle this camera. But you didn't do that because you want good picture to be out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
And not only that, we all have different background, different orientation. I want to believe God created me well and thank my parents. So now that I'm grown up, I must show decency and say that my appointment is not a mistake. Not only that, if you are working with General Obasanjo, you want to perform because the man is a performer and he can mess you up anytime. I don't want to use the word disgrace if you do the wrong thing. And so, if I'm doing anything good, I'm doing myself good. And I'm also doing the person who put me there good, because he would be proud that he had made the right choice. And Obasanjo just like that. Before I do anything, I know what can make him to be mad with me or mad with anybody. Why should I then do it? And so I sympathize with, not now anymore, because every Nigerian should have an idea of another Nigerian that he thinks can do a job. So don't go and put one idiot to be in charge of ministry just because it's your friend or you know somebody there.
Or your relative.
Because if he doesn't do well, he is also damaging your reputation. And there was a time there was crisis. I can't remember the nature of the crisis now. And after the crisis was over and we were discussing, I think the position that Obasanjo took was that he went around all states in Nigeria. He didn't come to the West. And his belief is that he had a competent person there.
Yes.
Tell me, what can be better?
He monitored others and he just believed Jemibewon will handle the Midwestern states.
No, Western states.
Western states. Sorry, sir.
Tell me. So, one just keeps quiet. I ought to have put some of these things in writing. And if I can get some writers, let them charge me. I will still put some of, whether, like you said much earlier when I made the same statement, whether it's read or not, it will be in writing.
It's very important. Even the book of Habakkuk says you should write it because those ideas will help to train other people in the nearest future.
So this is it. So, I mean, some people just feel because you are a governor that is the most important thing. Policemen in front and the back running.
22 cars come
for your car to pass.
With guns and
you wouldn't get to America and see that, or Britain and see that. And I know that just like some of your questions earlier, and that's why I say I regret if I'm not too coherent. It's a long time now. And not only that, I have not been feeling well. I just manage. Now, anyway, let's.
People are trying to ask that what your role in the creation of Ogun State. Ogun State it came at a time that people didn't believe your role in the creation of Ogun State, because at that time you were managing like 4 states in the western region. So how did you now decide to create Ogun out of Oyo? I mean, people are surprised that it took them by surprise that state came out, and today is one of the outstanding states in the West. Of course, Ibadan, where you rule, is still fantastic. It's still the best because it's a comprehensive society, comprehensive environment. But what was it like creating Ogun State? What were the giant strides like?
Again, every story in the West is a big story.